It's Thursday, June 19th, 2019. June 13th. Okay. Tuesday, June 13th, 2019. There we go. And this is the Pro and Con Show. My name is Michael James Otta, and I'm your host. The intent is that we talk about this. It's all intended to encourage a civil discussion about the facts around some of the issues that we face every day, to get rid of the bias, to focus on the who, the what, the where, and the when, and thereby eliminate all of this analysis and conjecture and the corresponding bias that this causes. So I wanted to, yesterday we talked about Mr. Trump, and he was giving one of his briefs just before he got on the helicopter there on the White House lawn. And we talked about how some people are saying that they think he's a confidence man. And so I provided a list of the 20 attributes that are common for these con artists: con man, confidence man. This is all the same, different names for the same thing. And and then we watch the video. And so today I would like to show you another video. So the intent of one of the intents of the show is to show how the different streams of information that might come to you show this a bit of information in a different way. So there's a George Stephanopoulos, who is now a correspondent at ABC News. He spent some time with Mr. Trump over a couple of days. He was afforded access, and he did some interviews that were approved for release to the public. And so there's this one particular interview here. So I'm going to play. I think it's maybe 4 minutes. And then I want to talk about how the 5 different streams on the internet that I follow, so the Huffington Post, CNN, NPR, and then you have Fox News and Breitbart. And so this is kind of the spectrum from left to right, if you will. And so, let's look at this video. Okay, whoops. Hey, come on. I'll tell you what, sometimes the best plans of what the heck happened here? All right, well, bear with me here. No, that's not what I want to look at. Oh, what the devil? Okay. Well, let's do it in a different way. I'm sorry, you just have to bear with me here while I find this. Okay, so here we are, and we do a search, and okay. There we go. Here it is. Sorry. Sometimes that happens. So this is on ABC.
President Trump behind the scenes, and access really that no reporter's ever gotten before. Interviews on Air Force One, in the presidential limo, and in the Oval Office. We spent a lot of time together, and he made a lot of news last night, including that remarkable admission that he would accept, he's open to accepting information from a foreign government in the 2020 election. It's already getting an explosive reaction. We had 2 packed days of extraordinary access. It started Tuesday. The president was heading to Iowa. And he invited us on Air Force One. And that famed presidential limo called the Beast. This is some piece of machinery.
Oh, this is amazing.
And while the president landed in one part of Iowa, Democratic frontrunner Joe Biden in another.
Donald Trump is trying to take away your protections for pre-existing conditions.
I asked the president about those reports that he's trailing Biden in the polls.
Well, I don't believe those polls.
polls. There's no way he beats me in Texas.
But even your own polls show you're behind right now, don't they?
No, my polls show that I'm winning everywhere.
I don't know. We've all seen these reports that in 15 out of 17 states you spent $2 million on a poll and you're behind in 15 out of 17 states.
Nobody showed you those polls because those polls don't exist, George. Those polls don't exist. You mean I'm losing in 15 out of 17 states? Those polls don't exist. I just was given a meeting with my pollster, who I frankly don't even believe in pollsters, if you want to know the truth. You just run a campaign, and whatever it is, it is. But I just had a meeting with somebody that's a pollster, and I'm winning everywhere.
But the president wanted to know more, so a few seconds later, he asked to go off the record to call his campaign manager.
Let's call Brad on the phone, and I want to ask him that question, okay?
And those polls still on his mind the next morning when we meet. He'd already tweeted about it.
On Good Morning America today, they had that phony polling information. I explained to you last night that it was phony, but you didn't do anything about it. You should have, but it was late in the evening, and perhaps you didn't get a chance to.
I didn't see the piece this morning. I've studied those polls. I've heard the explanations from them.
Ultimately, it doesn't matter.
But why does it bother you so much?
Because it's untrue. I like the truth. You know, I'm actually a very honest guy.
As we talked in the Oval Office, the president's son was heading to the Senate Intelligence Committee for more testimony. Your son, Don Jr., is up before the Senate Intelligence Committee today. And again, he was not charged with anything. In retrospect, though...
By the way, not only wasn't he charged, if you read it, with all of the horrible fake news. I mean, I was reading that my son was going to go to jail. This is a good young man, that he was going to go to jail.
Don Jr. had been caught up in the Russia investigation because of that Trump Tower meeting in 2016, which he set up expecting to get dirt on Hillary Clinton from the Russian government.
Okay, let's put yourself in a position. You're a congressman. Somebody comes up and says, hey, I have information on your opponent. Do you call the FBI?
I don't think coming from
I'll tell you
Russia
what,
you do.
I've seen a lot of things over my life. I don't think in my whole life I've ever called the FBI. In my whole life, you don't call the FBI. Life doesn't work
The
that
FBI
way.
director says that's what should happen.
The FBI director is wrong because, frankly, it doesn't happen like that in life.
Your campaign this time around, if foreigners, if Russia, if China, if someone else offers you information on an opponent, should they accept it or should they call the FBI?
I think maybe you do both. I think you might want to listen. There's nothing wrong with listening. If somebody called from a country, Norway, we have information on your opponent. Oh, I think I'd want to hear it.
Do you want that kind of interference in our elections?
It's not an interference. They have information. I think I'd take it.
Robin, I got to tell you guys, that was just a stunning moment for me, for the president to admit it like this. This has been at the heart of...
Okay, so that's the clip. And again, don't want to hear Mr. Stephanopoulos and the rest of the team, talking about that. Just, okay, so you watch the clip. Okay. Now, let's go back to the characteristics of a con man here. So, ouch. Oh, my back is kind of killing me today. I did a favor for my wife. I took some stuff and, man, I hurt my back some here. So there they are. And I hold them up so you can freeze the video and read them yourself. But just to run through them, so fun, charming, and entertaining, displays impressive knowledge, but that often proves to be limited or fake, have primal perception, meaning they seem to know how to talk to us, to make us, try to like them. They're easily offended, they fluster and bluster, they lie always, they believe they're better than everyone, they hold others in contempt, they crave a good reputation. They defend their reputation with outrageous lies. Crave status and power. Have delusions of fame and importance. They mimic our authentic emotions and sincerity. They have no capacity for care, concern, or love. They think of themselves as victims. They are sexually promiscuous and often simultaneously avoid sex with their primary partner. They do horrible, illegal, or immoral things that they want to do to absolutely anyone. They think their prey should be grateful. They take pride in their scams. They run several scams simultaneously. They believe everyone deserves what they do to them. They smear their victims. When things end loudly, publicly, and online and in court, they have outbursts of rage. and they know they are monsters, and they enjoy it. So let's just go through. So this is information where he's saying, and by the way, in a tweet later on, he's as they say, doubling down. He's saying it's perfectly okay, and in fact, Giuliani. Rudy Giuliani, about a month ago or 6 weeks ago, he said he was being interviewed as one of Trump's representatives on the news somewhere, and he said, "Yeah, I think that if foreign countries provide us information on our opponents in these elections, why wouldn't we do it? Why wouldn't we take that information? Why would we not use that?" So let's look and see now from left to right. So the Huffington Post. So the other thing that's happening today is that Sarah Huckabee Sanders has announced, Mr. Trump and Ms. Sanders have both announced cooperatively that she'll be leaving the White House at the end of the month. And of course, the Huffington Post is saying "Hucka out of here." So they're inflammatory kind of stuff. Let's talk about Huckabee Sanders, but there's one of the top stories says House Democrats want to make it illegal for Trump to accept foreign election help. So this is one of the things that there's a discussion on the various news channels about trying to do some kind of bipartisan thing that basically saying this is wrong, that we as Americans don't want foreign influence in our elections, and whether you believe it has happened in the past or not, there's plenty of people that do. And so to assure that that concern is alleviated, they want to basically pass a law that says, hey, make no mistake, if a representative of a foreign government, regardless of who they are, if they approach any candidate or elected official and offers them some kind of information, they're supposed to go to the FBI. That's the intent of what is being proposed. And so it's on the Huffington Post. Okay, House Dems want to make it illegal. So now let's look and see what CNN says. Okay, so CNN, their top headline is also Sarah Huckabee Sanders is leaving her post. But down underneath, let's see here, it was in here. I know it was just here. I know it was. Well, they changed it. It was just a moment ago, and they were saying that there was an article in here in CNN that was saying that this allegation about Mr. Trump they wanted to do something here to fix this issue. It's on here still. There's a little video clip with Jake Tapper that says the Founding Fathers warned about the issues, but it was actually a significant main headline here. But I guess with Sarah Huckabee Sanders leaving, and I guess Kellyanne Conway also has been recommended to be fired by one of the watchdog federal offices because she has repeatedly violated the Hatch Act, which basically says that if you are just an employee of the federal government, you are not allowed to participate in political statements. You are not allowed to offer opinions or talk about candidates other than your boss and stuff like that. This is not supposed to be allowed. That was the Hatch Act, because in theory, if you're in federal, let's say you're the president of the United States, and if you are allowed to have tens of thousands of federal employees talking about you and how wonderful you are, as opposed to your opponent for office, this is an unfair advantage in our political system, and it would ruin democracy. So the Hatch Act it's decades old to prevent us from doing that kind of thing. Okay, so NPR, their top story is Sarah Sanders is leaving the White House, but they do have just below that, they say fact-checking the foreign interference because Mr. Trump in his interview at one point talked about foreign interference and being the same thing as opposition research, and so the fact check is that they're not the same. And here's a subheadline: Trump, if offered dirt by a foreign government in 2020 on a 2020 rival, I think I'd take it. Which you saw in the interview. You saw that in the video. Okay, so Huffington Post, CNN, NPR. Now let's look at Fox News. So we look at Fox News, and so it talks about Sarah Sanders is out. Okay. White House spokeswoman is leaving at the end of the month. And there's all kinds of various stories about that. And now we're looking for any evidence on Fox News about this thing where Mr. Trump is saying he would accept foreign assistance in the future election. And the closest I find here is there is a headline of an article here. So some fellow named Howard Kurtz, and it says, why Trump answered that hypothetical from Stephanopoulos. So it doesn't talk about him, and the key words here, right, of being open and accepting assistance from a foreign entity in the 2020 election. But so it is sort of kind of mentioned, but not really. Okay. It would be very easy for you, anyone looking through this website, to not even look at that, right? So again, you saw the video. Okay, let's go to Breitbart and see what they say about this. So Sarah Sanders leaving the White House. Okay, that's their top story. I don't see anything in here on Kellyanne Conway so far. Oh, no, here it is. Okay, so special counsel recommends Kellyanne Conway is removed. And now looking under, they have these stories that are on our radar. So I'm looking to see whether there's anything about Mr. Trump talking about being open to accepting help from foreigners in the 2020 election. And in fact, saying, you heard him, the FBI is wrong in saying that would be wrong. This is by the way, the FBI director handpicked by Mr. Trump and appointed by Mr. Trump. Okay. So there's some stuff on tariffs and some stuff here on Tesla. Okay. You get far enough down the page, It's quite far down on the page, but here it is. It says, update, Democrats outraged Trump would listen if foreign government had dirt on 2020 rival. Okay, so it is on here. It's well down the page on their website. And you notice how the language has been massaged. Also, of course, you immediately blame the Democrats. So this is a thing where, this is how they kind of taint the information. They try, well, it's just the Democrats. They're, it's okay. And so this is what I'm saying. Please, I beg you, if you don't, I don't care, what ultimately position you believe in, as long as you're fully informed. Don't be ignorant, and don't allow yourself to be ignorant. Okay? It's really important these days for you to look for the who, the what, the where, the when, and get rid of all the other bias in this, and go to the source. Watch the little video clips yourself. See these people in action. The videos are not, dubbed or false or computer generated. These are real people talking, and see it for yourself, and not, little excerpts of it and that kind of stuff. And then come to your own conclusion. Look for the who, the what, the where, the when, and then come to your own conclusion. All right? Do that for this democracy. Do this for your families, for your children, for your neighbors. Do this for yourselves. This is important work. I'm not talking about, months out of the year. I'm talking about a handful of hours a month, maybe 1 hour a week. Take the extra time to understand what's going on with these issues from a fundamental information standpoint. Okay? All right, so we're running out of time. So this has been the Pro and Con Show for Thursday, June 13th, 2019. I look forward to talking to you again real soon, hopefully tomorrow. And until then, bye for now.